Hello, my name is Hippie Viking and welcome to another episode of My Favorite Frame and why I think that they're the best in the game. Now, disclaimer, there are over 70 different Warframes. Now, mind you, I said over 70, not exactly, but there are over 70 Warframes. So there is bound to be some kind of disagreement or discourse over whether or not this Warframe is truly the best. This week, we're going to be going over our favorite librarian, Dante. Now, the history around Dante is up for speculation. People aren't really sure exactly what he was before he was a Warframe, but I guess the general consensus is he is a librarian, which absolutely fits when you consider that his exalted weapon is the Noctua, which is just a book that he can cast magic out of. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big fan of using the tomes in Warframe. Now, Dante already as a Warframe is one of the more S-tier frames out there, but one of the reasons why I like him so much is because how useful he is as a support frame. We'll get into his abilities later on in the video, but already as a Warframe, his ability set works so vastly different than any other Warframe that I just enjoy his playstyle when I'm getting a little worn out on some of the other Warframes that are available to us. But once you do get past that little bit of a learning curve when it comes to learning how to put in his abilities and what the abilities do, Dante as a Warframe can make you and your team practically invincible. One of the other things I like about Dante is if you have the extra plat to spend is getting his cosmetic set, because his cosmetic set with the way that he glides across the map makes him flow so much with the extra robes and everything that flow behind him. I love the aesthetic of Dante as a whole. Is it my love and passion for books? Maybe, yeah. Is it my love and passion for magic and knowledge and education? Yeah, probably. But overall, I just really like flowy things. And look at him, he just flows. But let's get into the real meat and potatoes of the video, and that's the abilities, because his ability set is vastly different than a lot of other Warframes that we see out there. Now, I talked about his first ability a little bit earlier in the video, and that's his exalted weapon, Noctua. Now, Noctua is something that you summon with your first ability, and it comes into play, and it essentially acts as like your secondary weapon. And if you have the Grimoire, then it works very similar to the Grimoire as well. But you have a bar that you fill up, and when that bar fills up, then you're going to press the alternative fire, and it's going to shoot out this like giant wall of energy. Now, there's a lot of different status effects that can come off of this effect and ability, but it is something that you get to play around with depending on how you want to build out your Dante. Now, I love it when a Warframe has an exalted weapon because it's just an extra thing that you get to customize and make it look super cool with the different color palettes. So I love the fact Dante has the Noctua and has that exalted weapon option. But on to his other abilities, because there is so much more to Dante than just his exalted weapon. His second ability is Light Verse. Reading a verse out of his exalted book, he's able to give him and his allies Overguard and increase their health. Now, there's a lot more to this ability than just that. That's just a surface level explanation of just the tip of the iceberg. But before we dive into that and find out what's underneath that tip of the iceberg there, we're going to dive into his third ability. That third ability is Dark Verse, and Dark Verse draws blood from all the nearby enemies, inflicting slash damage onto them. Now, similar to the Light Verse, Dark Verse has a lot more to it than just what it says on the ability description. His fourth ability changes depending on the previous two abilities you cast before it. So let's say that you cast Light Verse 2 times in a row. Then you're gonna get the final verse, which is gonna reinvigorate your allies with a buff that increases health and grants Overguard. Kills and assists will briefly regenerate it as well. You can give you and your team anywhere from 5,000 Overguard to 64,000 Overguard, depending on how you build your Dante. But let's say you cast the Dark Verse 2 times in a row. What happens then? Well, then your fourth ability is Tragedy, which damage over time from slash, heat, and toxin status effects accumulate in a single blast. This is one of those abilities that you use to clear out an entire room in seconds. But this is where the abilities get fun. Let's mix them up a little bit. So you cast Light Verse, and right after you cast Light Verse, you cast Dark Verse, and when you cast Dark Verse, you go into your fourth ability. But this time it's going to be different. It's going to be an ability called Wordwarden, and Wordwarden is going to create a copy of your Noctua and give it to all of your allies and yourself, and that copy is going to synchronize its attacks with the attacks you and your allies make, which essentially just gives everyone their own personal little ally that helps them fight enemies on the battlefield. Okay, last but not least, let's swap Light Verse and Dark Verse. This time we're going to cast Dark Verse first and then Light Verse second. This combo is going to cast Pageflight, and Pageflight is going to summon Peregrims, which are essentially just birds made of energy that will swoop down at enemies, drawing away enemy fire and also making them vulnerable to status chance and status damage. Now, if you do your combos right, you can do something really cool. Summon your Peregrims by casting Pageflight, and when you do, it's going to make them vulnerable to status chance and status damage, right? You're then going to cast Tragedy by casting 2 Dark Verses, okay? All of the people that your Peregrims hit during that original Pageflight casting are going to make them super susceptible to your Tragedy ability when you cast it, which those 2 back to back can easily clear a steel path room, no problem. And not only are you clearing a steel path room with no sweat, you're also ensuring that you and your team are fully stocked up on Overguard and increased health the entire match as well. There's a lot of Warframes that are really good at being support Warframes, and there are some that I may not have even really gotten to experience yet in my time of playing. But at this moment of time, at posting this video, Dante, in my opinion, is one of the best, if not the best, support Warframe we have in the game so far. But hey, whether you agree with me or not, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments, and who knows, maybe if you suggest a support Warframe that you think is better than Dante, I'll give them a try, and I'll make a video as to why I think that support Warframe could possibly be better than Dante. Stay tuned for next week's video when we go over Caliban, our favorite Tau damaging summoner. Well, my favorite at least.